Hello there, thank you for clicking on this video. If you have never seen my face before, my name is Thomas. I'm a visual artist and illustrator based in Belgium. On this channel and with these videos, I try to document my artistic vision and practice and give you a glimpse over my shoulder into my studio here. That's where we are at this moment. For those who have seen my videos before, you might notice a little bit of a different arrangement, but I will talk about that later. For me, these videos are always kind of an extension of my sketchbook or my brain in a way to visualize my thoughts and also like put them into words. Today you will see me experiment with some bigger formats for my drawings. That's something I've been wanting to do for a while, but I've never come around to. And then I'm also working on one commissioned illustration for a magazine, an illustration that has to like go next to a text about heritage. Then I won't keep you waiting any longer and we'll get into some drawing. The footage you will see now is from a couple of evenings earlier. At this point, I actually already started the commission that I was talking about in the beginning, but I was getting kind of frustrated with it. I was kind of getting stuck on the design that I made. I was happy with the design, but then the final drawing wasn't really working out. So sometimes I really need to just take some time to draw for myself, and this is a very good example of that. Just doing some relaxed sketching in the evening. And the idea of these sketches was to make a design for the bigger drawing that I wanted to work on. Or start. Something interesting with me and drawing bigger is that I have always struggled with it because my drawings are often very line oriented or like very much based on using lines. But when you scale a line that's like on an A4, it's maybe like 0.5 millimeter wide. When you draw with the same pencil on a way bigger scale, it doesn't really work because the line is so much smaller on that scale and it looks really weird or it looks really small. I've looked for different ways to counter it by using like thick graphite sticks and charcoal sticks and even making like actual thicker lines, like drawing in a very thick line. But then that also really didn't work because it really loses like the spontaneity that I have in my line work. But yeah, long story short, it was just a fun, chill little evening in the studio, doing some sketching, and then I eventually go on to make an actual piece of this design that I made. As I said, I did some sketching and I think I am happy with the idea I have or the way I want to go. But if I'm being very honest, I have no clue what I'm doing right now because, as I said, I want to go for a bigger scale, bigger format for this drawing or for this new drawing. I want to try something completely different, I think, for this larger drawing and go kind of out of my comfort zone, try something I've not really done before, and that's maybe for a big part just ignore lines and work with shapes more. And I think I want to use some different materials as well. I'm not really a painter, not at all, but in the past I have used gouache for some more shape-oriented pieces, and I'm thinking it might be cool if I like combine gouache and then maybe graphite or even oil pastels to put down my lines. I have no idea how I'm gonna start this. I'm even having a hard time like thinking about how I'm gonna start this bigger drawing because it's just like logistically way different than doing a small drawing. But not knowing how something works is another reason not to try it, in my opinion. I have an entire day today just to spend in the studio, so I can take my time, and that's the most important part. So yeah, I guess I will try and we'll see what comes out. Okay, I have no clue if you can see any of this, but I made a rough sketch, or no, it's not even that rough. It's pretty clear, I think. I'm pretty happy with it actually. It went surprisingly well. Like on this big format, I was able to put things in the right place pretty quickly. There's also something that is kind of a problem sometimes with sketching for me, is that when I make a too rendered sketch in my sketchbook, I get too like hung up on it, and I really kind of it loses a lot of spontaneity in the final piece when I have to put it, especially like on a bigger piece, but also just when I want to make it like a more when I want to go for the final finished drawing, it kind of hinders me in making other decisions that feel right in the moment. Alright, but this is still the easy part. The hard part will be the colors actually. I just realized that when you work with paint, you mostly have to also like pick colors, and you have to mix colors, and it's something it's not it's not that I'm bad at it. I don't want to say that about myself, but I just really don't like it. I don't like mixing colors. I don't like thinking about colors. If you know my work, I do use color, but only more recently. That's just because I don't really have like a feeling with color. I don't know what it is, but I do want to use color, and I want to become better at it, get more of a feeling for it. So I'm thinking, I'm actually right now thinking about doing a like color study on my iPad. Just quickly take a picture of this sketch and lay over some different colors so I can see what works. That will also make it easier for me to visualize the colors when I'm mixing them. But so far so good. I'm happy with the drawing. I think it's interesting. I do maybe want to add some more little elements. Right now I have like these nails on the floor, this match, but I also maybe want to do something in the air behind the figures. And I'm always like kind of struggling with background, like what I should do for that. I might just put like big colored shapes in the background, and then just add something like a landscape or just like a ground texture, but it's something for later, I think. I'm also gonna retape the paper, because you might have noticed that it's kind of like bubbly still. That's because it became a little bit loose in the beginning, especially when I'm gonna use paint. It's gonna be important that it doesn't really get the chance to curl up too much. But okay, I'm gonna stop talking, I'm just gonna get on with it. After all that talk about mixing colors and choosing colors and whatever, you actually see me putting away my gouache here and taking out some oil pastels instead. I really did not want to paint at that moment. It just really, like, it was too big of a hurdle to have to start with the mixing and stuff. So I just decided on trying to work with oil pastels, which I've also never really done for a more stylized piece like this. I have done it in the past with more classical drawing or drawing to life, but it was also an interesting experiment because I really like oil pastels as an idea, the concept of like it being between painting and drawing in a way. Right. Being courageous is not only trying something new and going into the unknown, but it's also admitting defeat when it's necessary. And I feel like I'm a little bit defeated, not too dramatically, but as you maybe saw, I actually didn't end up using the gouache, the oil pastels, which is a material that I very much like. Or at least I like the idea of it. I like the idea of having a material that's like in between drawing and painting. It has the tactility of drawing, but also has more of the effect of a painting, more of the expression of painting. But it just doesn't work in this case, I think. I just did like the background, and I just noticed that it's not clean enough for me. I mean, it's hard to use a pretty thick pastel to get like the clean lines. And although I'm not 100% sure, I do believe that that's what I want to accomplish with this. or with this style of drawing. I think it's just gonna be quite a big mess if I keep going. But then again, sometimes you just have to try something to know if it works or it doesn't. I don't feel, don't feel defeated. It was an experiment, and I still really like the drawing, so I do wanna make it again. But I think I'm just gonna stick to colored pencils. Also, a big part of why I wanted to use pastels or gouache is because it obviously goes a lot faster when you're doing something on a bigger scale. If I have to like fill this in with a colored pencil, I will be busy for a couple of hours, which is okay maybe. Everything has positives and negatives, and the positive of pastels being that it's quicker, but also messier and harder to control. But long story short, I think I will wrap this one up. I won't be going on with this drawing, or at least with this specific one. I will make the drawing again, but I think I will go for a smaller size just for now, just because I do want to finish this, but I don't think I will have enough time to make one on this format. But that doesn't mean that I won't in the future, because I do really like the format. I really enjoyed like also making the sketch this big. It gave me way more control than I thought. I thought it was going to be hard to get the composition right and stuff, but that was actually surprisingly easy and fun. So I think I will go for a smaller scale for a little bit, maybe just an A3, and remake this drawing. If you are still watching this video, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. And if you are not subscribed, maybe consider subscribing, because if you've watched up until this point, I guess you kind of are enjoying yourself, right? Last video I said that we just got over 100 subscribers, and now we actually already are almost at 200, so almost doubled that already. So I really want to thank you guys for that. Still, there's like about 70% of the people that watch my videos that are not subscribed. So if you are enjoying yourself at any point, maybe consider it. It's free, and then you won't miss any of my future videos. Right, I'll let you get on with the video. Alright, I just finished this drawing, or at least I think I finished it. I might have another look at it tomorrow, but I'm quite happy with the results. Still a little bummed that it didn't work on the bigger scale. I mean, the drawing worked on the bigger scale, but the technique didn't really. But I'm happy that I still like made something, completed something. It's sometimes challenging for me that when I have like a bigger idea, that I get kind of hung up on it, and I really want to do like the bigger scale, but then I don't really come around to it, or like I try it, it doesn't really work, and then I don't really have the motivation to immediately make something else. But in this case, I really liked the idea of this drawing, so I did want to finish it also for this video. It's always fun, I think, for you guys to see a finished product. Yeah, on the screen you will probably see some better images of this drawing, and I am still maybe thinking about making a frame for this, but I'll have to see. That will be something for a next video. I've been quite eager to get into some woodworking again, and this would be a good opportunity. But I also have like this sparked like 2 more ideas for me for 2 different drawings, so I might end up making a frame for one of those 2 other drawings, but we'll see in the future. We don't have to get too much ahead of ourselves right here. But I'm happy with what I put down here. It was also like a fun, chill day in the studio today. Nice weather outside, but it's very cold. I enjoyed myself. If you're enjoying yourself too, maybe leave a like, subscribe. You never know what fun you could have in the future.
If you've seen my videos before, you might notice something different. I kind of changed up the layout of the studio here, mostly because fall has very much arrived in Belgium. It's getting quite cold, and even though it's a sunny day today, sunlight is a little bit more sparse, and especially for making these videos, but also for drawing, it's obviously way better to have natural lighting. And if you haven't seen my videos before, my desk was like rotated 180 degrees and here in the middle, but this is a little easier to get good lighting. But enough about lighting. It's now Sunday. Let's not call it morning anymore. It's more like the middle of the day. There's no more coffee left in the house, so I'm drinking some tea today. But we're gonna start some drawing. I'm working on another commission for a magazine. This time it's for a research, I think an academic research magazine or publication. And they are having me make a illustration with a text, like a research text or like a small part of the text. I already made some sketches here. I'll show you in a minute. Sent them over and they got approved, so I can go on with the final illustration, and I hope to finish that today. The text that I had to make an illustration for is about heritage, and how heritage is more than just like some dusty archival historical stuff, but can also be something very day-to-day, like how the smells and the sounds from your surroundings can make up just as much of heritage as historical facts. In the text they also very much talk about conversation and dialogue, and how that's very important to keep alive, how there's also heritage in talking to other people, discussing things that are important to you, and most importantly discussing it with all kinds of different people, maybe also people who don't share the same ideas as you, but still taking the time to talk to them. This drawing was quite a struggle for me. I went through a couple of different trial and errors. I started manually, then I went digitally, but that was way too flat, and then I did end up using just like color pencils on paper. As you saw, I was doing some color studies for this commissioned illustration that I'm doing. I actually first already tried it on the iPad, like I wanted to make it completely digital, and then I came up with this. I might have showed it already, don't know. But this felt way too like lifeless and too flat, not enough texture. So I did want to go for a manual drawing. Do you say manual or analog? But I was very much struggling with the color combinations. As you can see, I made some of these thumbnail color studies. None really felt right. So what I sometimes like to do is just like go on Pinterest and see what images I have saved, especially when it comes to color, because I'm not that good at choosing colors. For a long time I just worked in black and white or like gray tones. So using color is pretty new for me, but mostly, yeah, the choosing of a color palette, that's something I struggle with a lot. As I said, I just sometimes go on Pinterest and look for an image that like has the same feeling color-wise as the drawing I'm making. And I actually found this one by Kevin McNamee. You can see the name here on the screen. So you see this also like a city scene, and a couple of the colors that are in this drawing already were in like the palette that I was using. For example, the blue of the sky, and also that ochre yellow. And now I think I have like found a more interesting combination that I want to go through with. Also, I put a little bit more details. I think I already made this design like last week of the drawing itself, and I was kind of stuck. Like I didn't really feel like I could explore new ways of filling it in. I was yeah, as I said, I was kind of stuck. But now I feel like I have a little bit like of a fresh wind into the drawing. Like also just deciding that maybe only the roofs should have a color. That's something that I took from, I mean, art is always stealing in a way, but like something like that, I just like my brain couldn't comprehend before seeing the drawing. Sometimes you just really need, especially when there's like a design that you've been looking at for a long time, working on for a long time, you just need to look at a lot of images and try and open up your vision a little bit more again. Especially in this case, I was focusing way too much on the actual design that I already had, that maybe didn't even work. But right, so now I feel confident going forward with the colors. So I will knock this drawing out. I hope I can finish it pretty quickly because, I mean, I like the drawing, but I've been working on it for a little too long. So let's get to it.
It is now evening and I finished the drawing. I didn't work on it till it was evening. I finished a couple of hours ago and then I just took a break. I'm really conflicted with this drawing, just as with the one I did last video, the commission. I always feel like when I do commissions, I never really truly feel like I make something that feels like me, because I feel like a lot of my artistic practice or my drawings are based around my own ideas and my own vision. It means that when I have to like visualize another person's idea or like something like this from a text, I have a little bit of a harder time of making it my own. I always feel like I kind of go a little bit too deep into making it right, while I have way more freedom and fun when I'm doing my own thing, which is obviously logical. I think with doing more and more commissions, I have to kind of maybe like create a sub-style for myself that I'm... Now the thing is, with a drawing like this, it is quite literal, or the information is quite literal that I have to visualize. So it's always kind of tricky, but I will quickly show you the drawing as well, now that it's finished. And here it is. It is, like as I said, I'm a little bit conflicted. There is some things that I want to touch up digitally. For example, these blue parts and chimneys. I also want to make this red. I just feel like the blue is a little bit too intense here. And then I have to like do some cleaning up, like some lines I drew too far, that kind of stuff. I mean, overall, I'm happy with it. I still really like the concept that I had for this drawing, but I just feel like I didn't really find the perfect way to visualize it. Something I also noticed when working with colored pencils, or with these ones at least, that I can't really use a very pointy tip. I can't really make it that pointy because it breaks very easily. It makes it a little bit harder to make some crisp lines, so you can see like some of the lines aren't that clean, but that's okay. I think it does feel more handmade or like hand drawn, obviously, than the digital drawing I did first. Yeah, but yeah, I'm happy with it. Not super thrilled, but I definitely do still feel confident in delivering this to the client. I think they will be happy with it, and that's the most important part, I think. And with the end of this day also comes the end of this video. If you are still watching, again, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I never know how far people make it into my videos. If you're still here and you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, maybe consider doing it, because if you're still here, I mean, that has to mean something, right? No, but for real, thank you very much, everyone who's watching these videos, who's commenting, who's liking, who's subscribing. It really means a lot to me. It's really motivating to keep making these videos and to keep drawing, obviously. Next video I will be working on one more commission, actually for the same client as this one. It's also like a little bit of a harder text, so I'm very curious how that will go. I'm sure it will go fine. And then the next video I also want to make some more of those drawings that I made in the beginning. I have a bunch of ideas for that, and I think I want to have another crack at making a bigger one, but we'll see about that. That's all for me. I won't take up any more of your time. Again, thank you very much for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening or morning or day or whenever you're watching this, and see you next time. Bye.